Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're doing something really special. We are taking a massive, sweeping, spatial, historical tour of one of Europe's absolutely most monumental public spaces. Imagine descending right into the heart of Budapest, to this majestic plaza perfectly positioned at the end of the Grand Andrássy Avenue. This is Heroes Square. It's a location that literally radiates grandeur and national pride. In this explainer, we're going to explore the breathtaking architecture, the deep historical roots, and the profound emotional weight of this incredible, timeless space.
Okay, let's dive right into this. To truly understand a complex this massive, we need a roadmap for our journey. First, we'll cover the Millennium Celebration, then the Archangel and Chieftains, followed by the Colonnades of Heroes, the flanking palaces of art, and finally, we'll see how it acts as a living cultural hub today.
All right, part one, the Millennium Celebration.
1,000. Just think about that number for a second. It's massive, right? And that almost incomprehensible number is exactly what sparked the creation of this entire square. Back in 1896, Hungary wasn't just throwing an ordinary party, they were celebrating a full millennium, 1,000 years since the 7 Magyar tribes, led by Prince Arpad, first arrived in the Carpathian Basin way back in 896 AD. The Hungarian state was riding this incredible wave of self-confidence and economic boom, and they decided they needed a celebration that would boldly announce their arrival as an international power. This wasn't just a quick anniversary, it was a year-long, monumental showcase.
Now, what's really interesting about this timeline is, well, you'd naturally think a monument built for an 1896 anniversary would actually be finished in 1896, right? Nope. Prime Minister Sándor Wekele got the ball rolling in 1893, and sure, the massive Millennium exhibition opened on time right behind the square with over 234 pavilions. But the sheer, staggering ambition of the monument itself meant decades of delays. The central statue wasn't even placed until 1900, and the square as a whole wasn't entirely finished and officially named until 1929. It took a full 34 years to bring this breathtaking vision to life.
Moving on to part two. The Archangel and Chieftains.
Take a look at the sheer scale of this thing. Imagine you're walking right up to the monument from ground level. Your eyes are instantly drawn up this towering 118-foot Corinthian column. That's roughly 36 meters high. This colossal pillar totally anchors the open plaza, standing there like a triumphant exclamation point at the end of the avenue. It establishes this incredibly majestic, contemplative mood, demanding that you look up and just take it all in. So as we virtually circle this central column, we really have to ask ourselves, who exactly are the figures guarding Hungary's history here? I mean, the monument is covered in these incredibly intricate bronze figures, from the earthly base all the way to the heavens above. Who earned a spot? Okay, here's how it breaks down. Down at the earthy base, you've got the 7 conquering Magyar chieftains on horseback. These represent the nomadic tribes who settled the land in 896 AD, led by Prince Arpad. But then, soaring high above them on the column is the divine Archangel Gabriel. He's holding the double cross and the Holy Crown of Hungary. And fun fact, this statue is so magnificently crafted that it actually won the grand prize at the 1900 World Exhibition in Paris. It's a brilliant contrast, the gritty, earthly tribal leaders at the bottom and the divine, soaring protector at the very top. And this brilliantly illustrates how myth and history are totally interwoven to legitimize the founding of the state. According to legend, Pope Sylvester II had a dream where Archangel Gabriel instructed him to give the crown to the Hungarian prince Stephen. So by physically placing Gabriel above the tribal chieftains, the monument's design literally elevates this divine dynastic myth way above the raw historical conquest of the land. Now, right in front of that towering central column sits a very solemn stone structure. It's a cenotaph, which translates to an empty tomb. This is the Hungarian War Memorial. It was erected to commemorate the heroes who died fighting for the independence of Hungary. It acts as this quiet site for reflection and wreath-laying, effectively grounding this soaring mythical plaza with a very real, tangible reminder of the human cost of national sovereignty.
All right, part 3, the Colonnades of Heroes.
So, the really crucial point I want you to take away here is that this monument is absolutely not frozen in time. It is a living political canvas. The original design was built during the Austro-Hungarian monarchy, so naturally it prominently featured statues of Habsburg rulers. But as we know, history shifts. After World War II, those Habsburg figures were removed and replaced by figures deemed true Hungarian national heroes, like the 1848 revolutionary leader Lajos Kossuth. The sweeping architecture stayed exactly the same, but the story it told was completely updated to reflect changing national priorities.
Today, walking along those sweeping colonnades is basically like flipping through a massive visual textbook of Hungarian perseverance. We're talking 14 towering bronze statues, each of them a solid 9 feet tall. You'll pass King St. Stephen, the very first king who founded the state in the year 1000. You'll see King Bela IV, who heroically rebuilt the entire country after a devastating Mongol invasion. There's King Matthias, the famed Renaissance leader, all the way up to independence fighters like Kossuth. It's just a breathtaking timeline of resilience.
And if you let your eyes wander to the very top of these sweeping colonnades, capping those corner pillars, you'll spot some absolutely incredible allegorical bronze figures. On the outer edges, you have these highly dramatic 2-horse chariots representing war and peace. Then, on the inner pillars facing the center, you find figures representing work and welfare and knowledge and glory. These literally embody the highest ideals the nation was striving for as it marched into the 20th century.
That brings us to Part 4, Flanking Palaces of Art.
Now, let's pan out a bit. On the left and right sides of the square, you have these 2 magnificent buildings designed in an eclectic neoclassical style. On one side, there's the Palace of Art, or Műcsarnok, inaugurated in 1895 for contemporary works. On the exact opposite side sits the Monumental Museum of Fine Arts, built shortly after. The mastermind architect behind both of these buildings, and the Millennium Monument itself actually, was Albert Schickedanz, working alongside the brilliant sculptor George Zala. Together, they designed this totally unified, breathtaking visual experience.
What's really fascinating here is that Hero Square isn't just about Hungary looking inward at its own past. Not at all. The Museum of Fine Arts was deliberately built to house global, international masterpieces, everything from classical antiquity to broader European art. It was perfectly designed to represent the universal views of art in the late 19th century. It proves that Hungary wasn't just celebrating its own roots, it was firmly placing itself right within the wider global culture.
And finally, Part 5, a living cultural hub. Let's bring this all into the present day, because Hero Square is absolutely not some isolated, dusty relic. It's the grand gateway to the massive city park. From the square itself, you can catch views of the eclectic Vajdahunyad Castle, or just stroll on over to the famous Széchenyi thermal baths. And if you visit today, you won't just see solemn tourists, you'll see families gathering, people hanging out, and local teenagers skateboarding right past thousand-year-old kings. It seamlessly blends history with vibrant, everyday life.
But even as it hums with all this modern life, the stones remember. Just look at this haunting early 1900s image of the monument, before all the statues were even in place. Over the last century, this exact pavement has witnessed profound, earth-shattering historical shifts. It served as the backdrop for highly choreographed demonstrations during the communist era, and decades later, in 1989, it was the site of the massive reburial ceremony for Imre Nagy, a totally pivotal moment in modern Hungarian history. The square just absorbs the eras as they pass. We've seen how this monumental space was born out of an 1896 celebration, how its statues were literally swapped out to fit new political narratives, and how it continues to beautifully anchor Budapest today. So, it really leaves us with this one provocative thought to end on. How do the monuments we build today shape our understanding of national identity for tomorrow? A monument is never just stone and bronze, is it? It's a mirror, reflecting who we think we are and ultimately who we want to be. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible visual journey, and keep looking closer at the world around you.